You have to explain why, though. You have to explain why we're saying hello again on episode 1.
So basically, I was going to keep it a secret, but
I
the
love
first
it.
episode, the first episode, I realized that I have a bad habit of going when people speak to me. I just kind of like yeah them, and I just kind of skip across what they're saying like a fucking selfish fucking asshole.
See, I don't feel like you do that, but
Man, I spent 4 hours editing out yes. I only got quarter of the way through the fucking podcast, and I was like, "This is fucking bullshit. We just need to do it again."
I had this. It came up in conversation numerous times. I think it's talked about on "Don't Call It a Gun," the podcast that
Your
I do with
podcast,
Seth.
yeah.
But there's always like something that people say, and for me, there was a time period where I would just be very, and I was kind of in my own head back in this time of my life. This is probably even before you and I met. So we're going many years ago, but everything was followed up with, that's crazy. Yeah.
But
crazy.
No, I remember that you used to do that. Yeah. when we first met, I remember.
So I got called out on it numerous times until a point where I'm like, that's, okay. I'd have to catch myself and edit it in real time while I was talking. But there's always some word that, like, I say amazing or that's awesome.
So do
fantastic.
They're my two words. They're my go-to words because I'm fucking positive motherfucker. You know.
That's what's up. Let's do this, and it's gonna be awesome. I'm excited to talk all over again, but I get real excited every time we talk. So let's get to it.
This Zoom thing, this is a game changer.
I know.
Do this more often, like.
Absolutely. I don't have a job, so I can do it anytime.
There you go. That's a good. So what are you doing with yourself right now, Frank? Who are you? What are you doing with yourself right now?
Right now, we're traveling. I've been a tattooer for 20 years. I've owned 3 different shops. Just Little Prick Tattoo in Decatur, Illinois, Oakwood Tattoo in Decatur, Illinois, and Taylor Street Tattoo in Chicago for a short time. Awesome. But I kind of recently walked away from the ownership of the companies, and knowing that I can pretty much tattoo wherever, whenever. My wife took a job as a traveling nurse, and we are on her first assignment in Wisconsin.
And how far away is that from your?
From our home, it's 5 hours, which was kind of going to a colder climate was never something we would have chose to do. But looking at it in the terms of, okay, we're only 5 hours from home. So if anything happens to the properties or anything happens, I can just run down there and come back, and it's not a big deal. I can go down there, do some work, and come back.
That's so funny. Like, it was you that told me. I think we spoke about it on your podcast the other day. Like, British people think that 200 miles is far to travel, and American people think that 200 years ago is a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so true. Like, fuck, I wouldn't travel 5 hours to visit my mum. You know what I mean? Like, that's fucking fuck. Like, she lives. I live 3 hours away from my mum, and we go like twice a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Now 5 hours isn't much. I mean, that's just a day trip there and back. So,
fuck, that's amazing.
I'm actually really excited about it though, because it does give us a chance to test the waters and make sure that it's what we want to be doing, being out on the road. But we're kind of scoping out places that we would like to post up permanently. We don't necessarily want to be in the Midwest forever. Yeah. And we'll get to that a little bit more. But I want to be someplace where it's a little bit warmer, because I do want to have the opportunity to ride more months out of the year.
Definitely.
But this is a great stepping stone. It's a good first time out the gate. What's that?
Legal weed's important.
Legal weed is important.
It's not legal.
And I don't have it up here.
No.
Now I can drive 2 hours back over the border, and I'm perfectly fine.
That's crazy. It's fucking crazy. And we were speaking before the podcast, and you were saying that Oregon is like totally
legalized everything up to like hard drugs, heroin, crack, cocaine.
Crazy.
You can be caught with anything that's not considered. I'm going to say it wrong, and I'll get fact checked
Nah.
You can have a solid amount and not have any kind of like legal action taken against you. It would be more of we're going to put you in for treatment. This is a sickness you have.
Yeah.
I can't say that I'm really
that.
I can't say I'm really upset with it because I went through my phase, man. I've been clean and sober from like hard drugs for a little over a year. I haven't drank in a little over a year, and I'm very happy with myself for making those decisions. But I don't hold it against anybody for what they choose to do with their life. Yeah, exactly. That's their decision. That's their journey, not mine.
People get caught up today, like too much on what other people are doing. You know,
absolutely. Like, well, crazy. I mean, we're at everybody's fingertips most of the time. You know what I mean? All I got to do is type in your name, and I'll find every single thing about you that I want to know, as long as it's on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly. I mean,
you know,
that's why that's a big reason you've come off social media at the moment, isn't it? Just
yeah. I just needed a break. I needed a break from all the other opinions and all the influencers. You know, whether you like what they influence or don't, you're being influenced. So
yeah, definitely.
I just had to back away from it and kind of get regrouped and regrounded and, you know, find your center, so to speak. You know what I mean? And that's
I totally get you, man. It's something I've been thinking about doing, and I don't know, man. It's like an addiction. Social media. It's
absolutely
especially when it comes to business, you know, like you tell yourself, like, it's kind of like people who fucking, I don't know, alcoholics that are like, I just need to do it to sleep. It's like, I just need social media for business, but really you're feeding your own ego.
Always a way to justify the means. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whenever I was a drinker, I just need it because it helps me talk to people. And then I got into cocaine. Well, I just need it because it sobers me up whenever I've been too drunk. I can drive better when I'm on coke.
It's a restart button.
Is that a factual statement? Maybe in the time, but is it a great statement? A good outlook? Not so much.
Yeah. I mean, you want to pass that down to your kids.
Yeah. And honestly, social media is kind of the same thing. You don't necessarily want to look at your kids 10 years from now and realize they've never had to leave the house.
Yeah.
They never had to go outside and experience any life because it's all right there at their fingertips.
I'm scared of my kids finding me on social media or, you know, looking me up in like 10, 20 years time and being like, wow, what a fucking dick. You know, I thought you were really cool, but actually you're a fucking dick.
I don't see it. I've known you too long.
Yeah. Well, how long's it been now? We've known each other. So 5, 6 years? No, longer.
I think longer. I think it's probably been closer to 8 or 9.
Right. Man, that's crazy.
I think.
It doesn't feel that long ago both of us being at Elm Street in Dallas and just.
I know. What a good time though, right?
And oh man, I miss that place. I fucking love Dallas. Everything about it, like just the place Elm Street in general. I love that shop. I love all the guys there. The food, like everything. Whataburger.
Yeah, man. You probably don't have that over there, do you?
No.
You should start Whata Buffalo Burger.
Oh man. Oh yeah, nice one. Cheers, Frank. So for anyone that doesn't know, I went through a bit of a fucking breakdown and ended up getting this farm and buying loads of Whata Buffalo. And apparently there's no money to be made. So
that's too bad. I loved it.
Yeah,
I don't even eat meat, but I loved it.
Yeah,
I watching what you do.
You're vegetarian now.
Yeah, pescatarian. I eat some fish.
Right. Okay. Do you feel better?
You know. Yeah, I feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel great.
Because I've been looking the other way. I've been looking at like the carnivore diet.
Because I've done that as well. I did that for like 7 years, and then one day I was just like, I'm gonna do it different. Yeah, I just did like meat, cheese. I didn't do any carbs for 7 years.
Holy shit.
And then I went completely opposite, and it's all potatoes and bread all the time.
Really? And you feel good?
Yeah. I feel like
man. I have one slice of white bread and I feel fucking pregnant. It's bullshit.
Yeah, it's just a matter of figuring out what your body likes, I think.
Yeah.
And you were a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Back in the day, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
How old were you then?
Oh man, I was like 19, 20, and 21. Yeah.
So it's been 4 years ago.
What, since that? I'm like 30 now. I like had to like double check myself then. Like,
Your
am I,
face was
am I
classic.
25? Like, fuck. Right. So,
Math is hard.
bikes, ride shoppers
Let's
or
talk about
die.
them.
Let's talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about some bikes.
What are you riding at the moment? What are you working on?
Currently, I have this custom construction hardtail Sportster. Sportsters are probably my favorite, like the tried and true, get on it, push a button, and go motorcycle.
I totally agree.
I've always enjoyed them. I've been made fun of my whole adult life for owning them, and I don't give a fuck. That's the beauty of it. That's the whole point of riding choppers is you don't give a fuck whether it's somebody's opinion, what they like, what they don't like. Your taste is going to be different than the next guy, and that's the beauty of riding motorcycles.
Exactly, you do it for you.
Yeah,
I mean it's a pretty selfish thing, but I mean it doesn't fucking.
I think it's okay to be selfish on occasion.
Exactly.
Because who else is going to get the enjoyment out of you riding your motorcycle?
Exactly.
No one.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. I mean, I love, my dream bike's a knucklehead. I want to build a knucklehead, but I mean, I know it's never. They're never gonna. I don't want to say never. Sorry, I don't want to upset anyone, but it's most likely not going to be my daily ripper like my Sportster is. You know what I mean? My Sportster always starts. It rarely breaks down. When I look after it, it's like there's a 95% chance of it breaking down when I don't look after it, and there's an 85% chance of it breaking down when I do look after it. So
I think a Sportster is kind of like that prom date. They're just down. They're ready to go.
Yeah, get your dick out.
So,
yeah,
get your dick out. Let's ride. There's a bumper sticker. You can make it. That's all yours, buddy. Get your dick out. Let's ride.
$1 million idea. So you've built a lot of bikes.
I built a lot. The one that I'm talking about, this little sporty that I've got now, I did not build it. The guy that did build it, by way of like 3 different trades with people, I ended up with his build. He ended up with my build, which was a 79 shovel head with a foot clutch and jockey shift, and
nice.
It didn't have a front brake, and it's just it was a death trap.
Right. Okay.
It was kind of a challenge. It was kind of a challenge to me. The idea was that we had to build a bike from frame up in 3 months.
Right.
And there was about 10 of us that did, and nobody won anything. Yeah. It was just a personal challenge. Can you do it?
Yeah.
So we did. And I think all of us ended up getting the job completed. Amazing. And we all have these little Magneto tattoos on our rib cage, every one of us. So that was kind of cool. That was the awesome. Final goal, was getting that matching tattoo.
I mean, I would think that 3 months was a short amount of time, like a month ago, until the guy, Stuart Houghton from EA Customs, I gave him my Sportster when it was a fucking horrible soft-tailed thing. And I mean, he enjoyed building the thing so much. He got the entire thing done in 3 weeks. Like, it was supposed to take 3 months.
That's insane to me.
I was like, I'll have the money ready after Christmas. It's all good. And he was done in 3 weeks. Welded, painted, everything. I
see guys who are capable of doing that. And those, in my opinion, those are the pros. Those are the ones that have all the tools.
The wizard.
I have a friend, Jeff Cochran, and he, like, the way his shop is situated, he literally, you watch him make like 3 moves. He turns and grabs 3 different things, and he's got a roller sitting in front of him, just because everything is, it's insanely beautiful to watch him do this, because it's so smooth. Everything just looks like it's just second nature. And it's just like watching him go for a casual walk. Yeah. And it's like, man, he just makes it look easy. But that's, for me, when I did the 3-month challenge, it was, I had probably built 2 or 3 bikes at that point. So I had a little bit of knowledge, not a ton of knowledge.
Yeah.
I still don't do any motor work personally.
Right.
Like, I have friends that do motor work, and I have friends that do paint work. I don't really paint them anymore because I want a nicer job than what I can personally accomplish. I think if I took the time, I could figure it out. But
rattle cans look great in a photo.
Exactly. You know, going 45 miles an hour down. I don't know what that is in British, but if you're going 45
Yeah,
miles an hour
we're the
down,
same. Yeah. It's 45 mile an hour. It's in between 40 and 50.
but yeah, they all look good. I had one that the last Sportster I had, it just had a bare frame for the first 2 years and rattle can red tank, and that was it. And it was functional and it started. It was reliable.
Yeah,
and it was all over the country. I had it and Bike
I
Week.
love
I had
that
it up in
look.
Sturgis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like what did we call Oliver's station? Lived in. Like his tattoo station is lived in, and it's the same with the bike. Like, like I've just had that Sportster done. It's all brand new paint and that, but now I've got some nice photos of it. Now I want to ride it, and I want it to look lived in. I want it to be, you know what I mean? I want to fucking ride it. I don't want to show it off anymore. It's just that's it.
You got the photos. That's what it was all about.
Yeah, exactly.
You get the photos and then you ride the piss out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's when they start getting that little bit of soul from all the road dings and the potholes, and they get a little, scuffy here and there, and
it's all character.
I love it all.
Yeah.
That's what makes them beautiful.
I never, no matter how many bikes I collect, I never want them to be sat in the garage being pretty. You know what I mean? I want them to ride all of them. Yeah.
Mine, I've been able to ride them all, and I'm very proud to say that, because I've seen so many people that don't. They just sit on them.
You had like 9 bikes at one time.
Yeah. And that was kind of a standard for a long time, was I'd rotate them in and out. Like, okay, I want to sell this one and I'll buy that donor bike. And, then I got a little bit of money to play with. Or, early on, like we had talked before, like it was just a matter of begging, borrow, and stealing parts, and then forcing yourself. Like I had to learn, okay, I got to learn how to weld, because I can't be running all over town asking people to tack shit up for me.
Yeah.
I just have to learn how to do it. And I have to learn how
skills.
Pretty terrible. They'll hold up.
They're strong as fuck.
They're super strong and not pretty. At all. But I mean, that it's just a matter of what you're going for,
exactly.
And there are people that can make really, really pretty welds that are strong as fuck. I'm not one of them guys or ladies.
Who was it that you told me about yesterday? You said he didn't even
my friend Brian Elliott from Black Sunshine Custom. He was he was a great builder in his day. He's kind of backed off of bike building and gotten more into cannabis growing.
Right, cool.
I'm so proud of him for it. It's he's been through some physical ailments called Guillain-Barré. It's like a disease that kind of paralyzes you, and then he came back from it. So it's just a little less impact on him. It's not quite as physical and demanding, but he's enjoying it. So but still one of the best welders, fabricators, painters, you name it. Like his stuff. Trades. Yeah, but he did everything beautifully. Just beautiful. I encourage everybody to go and check out some of his work if you get an opportunity.
It's guys like that, because like I don't know about you, but I don't think I never make bikes a job, because anything I make a job, I always end up hating.
You end up hating it.
Yeah. And so that's one reason I would never do. And also, like, there's guys like that they're just putting out such fucking amazing, beautiful stuff. Like, there's no room for me to try and fucking.
No, that's not true.
And like,
that's not true.
I mean, like, the thought of like learning another trade now after 10 years of learning this one, and then oh man. I
don't know. For me, it was more of just another outlet, not necessarily. There's sometimes I sit down and I just draw for fun. I didn't used to do that because it was my job, and that's how I viewed it. Like, I'm not drawing unless I'm getting paid. Yeah. But now I sat down just for the sake of drawing, because I don't have a line of people waiting to get tattooed, and I'm learning like, oh, I was actually enjoying that, but the payment was just a benefit. Yeah. So if you build a bike for yourself, or you design a bike and you turn and sell it and you make a profit, you have in turn turned it into some sense of a business, whether you like it or not. But
exactly.
I think it's good to get out there and know like where your wiring runs, how your forks work, what I mean? And it's going to help you establish how you set up your next build or the one after that. Each time you build one and ride it, you're like, man, that was nice, but if I could just get those pegs a little bit back or more forward, if I could just get that shifter a little closer or under my leg, maybe I'd like it better down low. And
you can see that in all of your bikes you've built. You can see that they just get cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. And cleaner.
Yeah, a little more progression, and I think that's the goal. You know what I mean? Especially for a novice builder, somebody like me that doesn't really make any money at it, and I really do rely on my friends a lot. I reach out to them, and whether it's just information or actual physical help, you know what I mean?
That's like, I don't want to get all soppy, but that's like a beautiful part of it for me. Like I love, I'll fucking steal an oil but like an oil bag off you, and then you'll need something off me next time you're building. Like I just
love that. And I say put that good karma out there. If you see one of your buddies struggling and they need something that you have, set the money part aside, because eventually they're going to come across something you need. So just in an effort to get that good karma started, just start handing out little bits and pieces as you can along the way when somebody needs it, because you'll be that guy who's like, man, I just need a tail light. If I could just find this honeycomb tail light, life would be complete. Yeah. And then one of your buddies would go, oh, I just picked up this honeycomb tail light for $80.
That literally happened. That literally happened to me with the Sporty. I wanted some white grips, but I wanted them to be like fucked up. I wanted them to be traveled. I didn't want them to be fucking pearly white. And the exact same thing happened with a friend of mine, Luke. Like I would talk to him about him, and we're always lending each other things and helping each other out. And I'm like, I want these fucking grips. I can picture them in my head, but I think I'm gonna have to buy some white ones. I'm gonna have to fucking kick them around the yard and run them over or something. And he just pulled them out of his drawer, and he was like these. And I was like, fuck. Exactly like
that's
those.
The one.
Fuck. Yeah, it's a good feeling.
Fantastic.
So what was your first bike you built?
First one I built, I bought the donor bike. I'm going to try to remember some dates for you. It was probably 1993 or 4 is when I bought the donor bike, and it was a running chopped XS 650 Yamaha, like a 72, 75. Right, okay. Depending on if you look at the frame or the title or the motor. It could be any of those numbers. They never really matched. But somewhere along the way, somebody had like a frame, a molded chopper frame, raked, hardtailed, ready to go. And it was just kind of a move the engine over or move all your bits over, the wheels, the front end. Yeah. And that became what was going to be my first build, was the transition of moving all of these donor bike parts to a new frame.
Yeah.
And then I did my very first paint job on that bike, which was hideous.
What color?
I want to build a bike. It was Kawasaki green. Is right. Frame, tank, fender, you name it. It was all green.
Oh man.
And so I wrote it. I had a few buddies help me out on it. We made some really cool pipes, I had little flappers and all these cool little things. I did a foot clutch on it, which at that time I had never rode. And mind you, it took me, I probably had the bike 6 or 7 years before it was ever rideable. Right, so I kind of, little at a time, put a little bit of money and time and effort into it. And then all at once, like my buddy is like at the final stretch, within, I feel like, a week, they were like, you ever gonna finish that? I'm like, oh man, I'd love to finish it. It's just I don't have this or this. And then everybody's like, and all of a sudden it's like, here's a bike. So
that's why I fucking love it.
And I rode it maybe 2 or 3 years. It was my only bike. And then I changed the paint, and then I changed the front end, and then it's had a bunch of rebuilds since then. And then I recently just actually gave it away to a friend of my son.
So how long do you have that then? Like 20 years?
Yeah.
That's
almost 20 years.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. The intention was, being it was my first bike, I was going to pass it on to my son. Right. But the more times we reworked it, or the more times I cut and hacked and welded, it just got more and more crooked, a little bit more and more off, a little more and more dangerous. Yeah. So the very first time I built it, I didn't understand like lasering down the backbone and finding
Right.
center of the front end or any of this business. I had just started assembling.
My eye.
So literally, so it wasn't until maybe 8 years later
Right.
that we finally pulled a plumb bob on it and realized this front end. I always rode it just like one hand on jockey shift, one hand pushing against the right handlebar.
Right. Okay.
So the front wheel was 1 1/4 inch off center to the frame. 1 1/4 inch. It's like the whole front was way over here, and I was just kind of like pushing again, but it's just how it rode. I didn't know anything else.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I rode the piss out of it like that.
it's a fucking death trap. Like so many people are like, oh god, why would you want to ride that? It's a fucking death trap. It's like, yeah, I know. I know.
That's
like,
why.
I don't care how reliable your Jap bike is. Well, sorry, even though we're talking about Jap bike, but that's usually the argument. I mean, there's another like. So, a lot of people do that. I did that. I customized, built / whatever, a Jap bike, and then, but the whole time I wanted a Harley. And then, I moved to Harley, and then would you ever go back to a Jap bike now? And I'm not starting a slating thing with. I'm just.
I would. There's a few that I really like. There was a Honda put out a few Honda put out a few bikes that were they were built phenomenal. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The Shadows and the Aces, and there's a few.
They do run
versions.
forever.
They do, and they handle nice. They're balanced really, really well. Yeah. Like you throw a leg over and you just kind of shift your hip, and the bike's standing. Yeah. And on the Harley, you really like put some effort into it. You get it up on, but that's where you feel like you're on a Harley, like you're part of it because you're working the thing. Yeah. And on a Japanese built bike or something that's a little bit more streamlined and balanced differently, they just kind of stand up and there's really no effort to them at all. It's like all the levers are really soft and squishy and just float like clouds. You're like, man, I don't really feel anything. Yeah. So that's the downside to it, is how comfortable it is. When you start falling asleep on a motorcycle because you're so comfortable.
Exactly.
And, it's a plus and a minus. Yeah. Me and Clean.
Go on. Sorry.
Me and Clean did a ride to Born Free.
Yeah.
And I showed up to his house. I got there 3 days early, and we're going to assemble this bike that he had in his shed. So we threw a motor in it, threw a transmission in it, started hooking up all the lines. Kind of ran out of time. Yeah. Kind of dicked off too much. Definitely ran out of time. Yeah. And
who are you talking about right now? You're talking about Clean Rock 1, aren't you?
Clean Rock 1. He's a tattooer out of Las Vegas. A lot of people have probably seen him on like Ink Master. Yeah. And he's been a dear friend of mine for many, many years. But we do much less tattooing than we do anything with motorcycles. We do a lot of motorcycle stuff together. Yeah.
He's coming on this podcast.
I am so excited for you. Cool. You won't really have to talk a lot. He can just keep it going.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we get out to Vegas. We're going to ride to Born Free. Yeah. So I don't take a bike. I'm going to just take one of his. He's got an old 77 or 79 shovel head maybe. Right. Yeah. And it's kind of got this, like, it's all blue. It's FLH style with these tribal flames coming down. And I love the bike. It's beautiful. It's all hand painted by him.
Amazing.
So he jumps on his new Street Glide,
right?
Road Glide. It's a Road Glide, and it's a nice platform. Like, it's real soft and cushy. Now I'm back here on his shovel head. He's up there on the Road Glide, and
on his couch.
And we get to the first stop, and I don't know. We may have been riding an hour or so. Yep. And I'm like, whoa. I'm wore out, man. That road, it about killed me. So the road has all these like little grooves in it, as part of the texture, but his little tires kind of get in there and like fishtail in the back end. So I'm really like hanging on, and he's just up there like, making, and he's like, whoa, man, was that nice or what? I about fell asleep in the first half hour. And I'm all disheveled, and I'm like, you what? What do you mean you almost fell asleep? So we ride on, we get out to California, and we pull up, and it's like raining, and it's nasty when we get there. So I ride the bike most of the time. Halfway back from the event, he's like, let's go ahead and just switch bikes. I'm like, man, this thing it's beating the snot out of me. It's just not. So I get on this new road glide, and I'll be goddamned if I ain't about falling asleep.
Yeah.
Now, he's up front now, and I'm watching him, and he's handling this bike like a pro. The one that I just beat the piss out of me for 2 days. I'm pissing blood
Because
he's on it.
It's like it is a part of him. It's
exactly.
Like, yeah.
So I almost guarantee if you bring that up, he'll say, "Oh yeah, Frank fucking hates that bike." Ah! I don't hate the bike. I love the bike, but that experience, like the difference in those, they're both Harleys.
Yep.
77 to 20. I don't know. I think it's probably a 2017 or 18. Like it's a newer one, but it's so nice. I'm like, I just don't know if I could have one of these. Like, it's too nice. I'm still used to like clicking the bugs out of my teeth, and I'm just now getting used to a street glide, a little short fairing that I can peer over.
Yeah.
You know, and I've never turned the stereo on it. It has one, but I've never turned it on. So I'm not like, I'm not into the baggers yet. I'm not Bagger Nation Frank, but
you haven't got any Wolf t-shirts yet.
Not yet.
Do-rags.
I'd like a Wolf t-shirt, please.
I mean, howling at the fucking moon. Live to ride to live. Thank you.
That's it.
And what was I going to say? Fuck, you threw me off. Oh yeah. So, would you agree that what's the shovel head that you're talking about? Then what was it again?
This one was an FLH shovel head. It's cleans. Maybe I think it's a 79. I could be wrong though.
Do you agree that if you both built the fucking same bike, the shovel head FLH 79, he built one, you built one, they would both run differently. They would both. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they absolutely.
Like, I love that. You know, that it's.
He's very much into, and this is where like designing and building them come into play. But Clean likes to really use high-end, top-notch parts. He likes to go for the loud. He likes the fast.
Yeah.
He wants, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm very much let's just cruise along. I want to build it back to stock. Yeah. If I ever sell it, I want the next guy to be able to do with whatever he wants.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? So if I build a bike and it's 50 over on the heads, there's no room for growth without a complete rebuild.
Yeah.
If I build a bike and I go back to stock, you know, jugs and heads and everything, well, the next person can build it as big as they want.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's where our, like, just knowing him, that's the two ways that he and I differ.
Yeah.
But I think it's across the board. I don't know what that was. I think across the board.
That just reminded me of when you stayed at mine in Scotland and somebody shot the window.
They did. I was like, what the fuck? Does this happen every night?
I'm so glad.
Like, what the fuck?
I mean, people think you're bullshitting here when I say like where we lived in just outside Glasgow, it was pretty rough. And now they know I'm not fucking lying. You're sleeping on the couch and you're like, someone just shot out your window.
I also remember it really struck me as different, the fact that it didn't get dark in Glasgow at that time of the year.
Yeah,
it stays light until maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. You only had like crazy. 2 or 3 hours of like nighttime.
Dark. Yeah, like Alaska shit. Yeah. But so yeah, that's what I love. Going back to, I love that like we could build the same bike, but you know, they'll run totally fucking different, even if they look the fucking same, even whatever. They'll, you know, I love that. I love that. That's what gives me fucking joy. You know, I don't know about you. It's just you're building something for you. It's a part of you, and you know, I hate to get all fucking, but you know, it is like a kind of expression of one's self. You know what I mean? I hate to sound all fucking cliche, but you know, it's fucking true.
It is. I mean, and you can see, like looking through the photos I sent you, how my taste and personality changed along the way. And I think you kind of want to look for that in people who build multiple bikes. If they stay the exact same, they're probably not doing much personal growth.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
So
And I think that's the same with our job as well with tattooing. You know, like we said it last night, but when you look back and you're like, fuck, I thought I was doing a really good job back then.
yeah,
and then the progression, and they get cleaner, they get tighter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you gone through a phase? How long have you been tattooing now?
Nearly
12
10 years.
10?
9.
Have you gone through a phase where you look back and go, man, I was tattooing better then than what I feel like I am now?
Yeah.
Have you felt that yet?
Yeah. Recently.
I'm looking at older stuff and I'm trying to place like where I was mentally. Like where was I at that I was producing work like that? What was I striving to achieve at that time?
Yeah.
But there comes a point when you get comfortable and complacent, and then you're like, doesn't even matter. They're just coming to me for my name anyhow. They don't even care what it is.
And as long as you've done it clean and you know it's going to last forever and it's not going to change, you're like, well, I've done my job.
And you know that it's not your best or it's not your all, but you're still like, Yeah.
Any of my clients listening to this right now, I'm just agreeing with him.
Just agree.
I'm just ignore him. Just no. I've felt definitely.
I am
like Germany. When I look back at my work in Germany and I look now, but right then I had like unbelievable amount of pressure and stress.
You did
from
bosses. It was a different kind of atmosphere there.
Yeah, it was very like, do your fucking best or get the fuck out.
Yeah,
it was
it was a bit pressing for sure.
Yeah, but so you're working privately now. So do you think that's affecting? Do you think that's got anything to do with it?
I think it's going to go well. I think it's going to allow me to just continue moving the way that we are.
Yeah.
From place to place, kind of a gypsy lifestyle. But I also feel like over the last 15 or 20 years, I've had an opportunity to establish connections pretty much all over the U.S. and getting into, even as far as coming over and visiting you a couple times. So it's not beyond the idea of just going in and doing shift coverage at different shops randomly around the U.S. And I've always done it as guest spots where it was like, hey, I'm going to be coming to this town and accepting tattoos, where this is going to be a little bit more on the humble side. We're not expecting people to know that I'm going to be like coming there, but just randomly coming into a street shop like, hey, do you guys do walk-in tattoos?
See, that's another thing I miss, like, I'm jealous that you're going to get that.
I'm kind of excited about it because I haven't done most of 2020. I haven't really done any walk-ins.
Yeah.
For the last few years,
yeah,
that's all I did. I wouldn't accept any appointments because I was trying to like do smaller bodies of work, not really stretch out too far.
Yeah.
And that went well, but it's still like, it was just a process of me trying to figure out where I was lacking happiness in the field that I chose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's easy to be complacent. And when you get to a level of whatever industry you're in, to where you're not having to think about it, it's not keeping you awake at night. You're not hearing the sound of the machines like when we were early on in our careers in our sleep. You know what I mean? Like it was all consuming.
Last thing you thought of before you went to sleep, and the first thing you thought of when you wake up.
Absolutely. Or you beat yourself up for multiple days at a time over a tattoo that you knew you could have done a little better.
Yeah.
That kind of sheds after amount of time, and you start getting complacent. And I think there is a bit of bikes. Yeah. It translates to both.
Yeah.
But I think there does come a little bit of an ego with it, that sometimes maybe we got to check that. And that's the point that I'm at right now, is putting a hold on my ego, checking it a little bit, and not letting my life be ran by it, by how many likes and shares I get, how many people commenting. When you remove that, it's a real humbling situation.
Yeah.
And I'm finding outlets like this, like doing our podcast and then coming on your show and doing yours. I'm enjoying that just as much. I'm looking forward to the days that I can just share some of the experience and stories that I've collected along the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't have to be actively doing things all the time. I've done lots of things.
Yeah.
So I'm
You know, I
not
mean,
done
because
doing things
you've been
either.
traveling. You've been traveling pretty much your whole career, really, haven't you?
Most all of it. Yeah. I only had
Yeah.
like 2 years where early on when I was pretty well dead set on being at home and learning,
Yeah,
that's
same.
where I was at. So after that, then I started stretching out and hitting local shows. Then I'd go further, and then I started flying out to them.
Yep.
But I was doing maybe 6 shows a year, which I felt was pretty active. Sometimes I'd do more, and then throw in a couple guest spots here and there. And then a few years later, adding more shops to that,
Yeah.
to where I owned more, and I was traveling back and forth to Chicago.
Yeah.
And it just got to be overwhelming, and the reward was
Did
not.
that shop
really
have anything to do with Rolo?
Yeah. That was his last shop that he worked
that's
at.
what I thought.
And it was shortly after he passed that I bought into it.
Yeah.
And needless to say, it didn't work out for me.
Yep.
The shop is still up and running. It's a very well known. It's a great shop. It's wonderful. It's just not my shop anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And now I've started doing a thing like just yesterday. I got with the guys at Oakwood and decided that we could continue to critique each other and work with each other and draw.
Yeah.
So I sent each of the guys just a recent tattoo I had done. Cool. And just asked for like a Mike Wilson style critique. Just mark it all up, draw on it, show me what you would have done different.
Yeah.
Let me see it from a different set of eyes on what the outcome could have been.
Yeah.
And man, that was a great day for me. I had a really good time with that.
I've recently started doing the same. I don't know if did you see the Joker portrait that I did, the color portrait of the Joker guy?
I haven't.
Anyway, so I recently did this color portrait. I haven't done color like that in a long time, and it was the first tattoo in a while. I did it, and then I contacted like 30 of my friends around the UK, and I was just like, just give me the fucking most brutal, horrible critique possible. Like, I want you to tell me the bad points. Don't tell me the good points. It's
right.
And it fucking helps, man. It really, really
it does.
helps,
And there's a lot of stuff that I think we just kind of look over. Like, I didn't really notice that little area, but when they started breaking them down, and these guys have been doing an amazing job. You know what I mean? Going from me critiquing them for a number of years to, and we did always work well. I was always willing to listen to what people had to say and take, commentary as we were drawing. And that's what I think made us stronger artists, was sitting around one table, all of us drawing together. I see the same thing like at Trader Bob's. It was really well known for doing that. They had a huge table in the back and we all drew together. So awesome. pass the paper, the drawing around. What would you do here? How would I do this? How do I get this little fold or ripple in here to look nice?
See, that's what I miss. Like working privately, like it's amazing.
This is what I'm dealing with, and I'm having to figure out how to be creative.
Yeah.
Also, in the current day and time, how can I be respectful? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some places I'm just not going to cross lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's a different time, different era. We have wonderful technology,
so many people
just like this that we can do.
So many people are going private now. Like
I know,
it's crazy. Let's talk about like travel. Like obviously, America. You've got like you were saying about us jumping from country to country. You jump from state to state. What's the furthest you've ridden on a chop?
North Carolina. It's about a 900-mile ride from Illinois to North Carolina.
Right.
I think I'd have to look at that. I could.
So did you do that in 2 days or?
Typically, the event was called the Smokeout, and it's a pretty well-known like novice builder bike show,
right?
Bike rally, and it was a lot of. Do you guys have the Horse Backstreet Chopper magazine?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're the ones who put this rally on. That's their show.
Awesome.
And it was a lot of skinny tire, stock rake choppers. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But then the next time I went, it was a lot of more stretched, longer, more 60s, 70s Huggy Bear style front ends. You know what I mean? Like really stepping out a little bit. So that's when it really piqued my interest, and I started riding out, and I'd build these bikes and either ride one and trailer another one just as a show bike, or
awesome,
whatever the situation may have been. But going to Florida to Bike Week was one I really enjoyed doing, and then I would trailer a bike maybe to Vegas and then ride Vegas to California for Born Free.
Okay.
So coast to coast, all the way from ocean to ocean.
Born Free. That's like, it's like kind of like what's the word? It's the holy grail now, isn't it? Like probably one of
it's the creme de la creme of the bike shows.
Yeah, I can't wait for next year.
And I feel like it started out as just a really, really small, and I could be off base, but I feel like it was a really small kind of a social gathering of really nice bikes, and then it just blew up.
Yeah.
And that's the one that everybody wanted to be at. And I've been fortunate enough to go 2 or 3 times I've been out there.
You think you'll go next year as long as the world doesn't end with COVID?
I'd like to. Nicole had, for my birthday, had bought us tickets to go out there.
Oh man!
And then they just didn't have it. So I have a really nice plaque with some wristbands and stuff on it but hopefully we can make it out there. That would be ideal. That'd
be cool. We could maybe do like maybe meet you somewhere and
then ride out.
Because your wife, she's got a Sportster as well, right?
Yes.
We're
actually building one. The one that I currently have, I just put a Springer front end with a front brake on it. So she'll end up riding that one, and then the one I sent you a picture of a frame, a sled frame, and that's the next one in line to get built. It's kind of been shelved for a little bit as I've been reorganizing how I'm doing like tattooing and how we're traveling around. So it's just kind of being held up temporarily.
And has she ridden? Does she ride? Like, has she ridden?
No. She used to ride dirt bikes when she was younger.
Oh,
so
cool.
I don't think she'll have any issue with relearning how to ride. And it's a small platform, so it's easy to maneuver and handle, and
exactly
lightweight.
Awesome. Is that an 883?
1200.
Oh, right, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's a standard 1200, not like a stepped up. Like the one that I'm getting ready to do is a 883 with a 1200 conversion kit. Right.
Okay. Cool. Amazing. So
what is it like? How far are you riding over there? Because we talked yesterday, and you have about, what is it, top to bottom of the island? 9 hours?
13.
12 hours.
Yeah.
13. That's right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, and even then, it's a weird ride. You know, that would be a straight. You know, I don't know where you are. You can ride like 13 hours and cut across and go different, totally different way. When you drive from the bottom up to John O'Groats or wherever the top is, it's just, you get up there and you just kind of ride back, and it's just, it's not like out there, but I mean, where I am in Cumbria, man, the roads are crazy. They're just, you come off the highway and then you're riding through all the fells, and you've got like twisties and you've got straights, and it's just the mountains and the fucking like the lakes and stuff. Yeah, it's amazing. Like,
sounds beautiful.
Yeah, I prefer to ride in the countryside, like that kind of thing. I'm not really like.
Do you like to get into it and ride fast? You put.
Do you know what? I'm not a speed guy.
I'm not either.
A lot of the guys I ride with are, like say we're going on a ride and we need to be somewhere, whatever, and they'll say, right, guys, let's just take it easy. Everybody stay at 90. And I'm like, what?
I don't even have a bike that likes to go 90.
What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, exactly. My narrow bars. I'm like, yeah, like,
oh my God.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm typically a pretty slow rider. I don't like to really get into it unless I'm just,
if there's a hot girl around, I'll ride fast because everybody knows that's attractive,
Also, when you get to a stop sign, just rev the shit out of it. Get into it. People love that.
Yeah, they. I mean, you can see them thinking, "Wow, that's a cool guy." Man, I've got this. I got this big fucking thousands. I'm not even. Well, I've got this Jap bike, right? Even though I'm always taking the piss out of Jap bikes. It's this. I bought it off a friend, and it's fucking amazing. It's this big, like, post-apocalyptic, long, extended swing arm, big fucking 1000cc CBR No, what is it? No, it's an 1100 CBR 1100 Blackbird. So, and it's got big ape hangers, like big fucking 14-inch ape hangers on it.
That sounds
it's
awesome.
fucking insane. A big knobbly tires, so it's quick. Anyway, why am I telling this story? Yeah. So the hot girl thing. So I pull up outside the shop and there's a hot girl across the road, and I'm like, well, I look badass. So yeah, she's obviously looking at me right now. So I fucking swing my leg over. There's a fucking 7-foot sissy bar on this thing, yeah? And I catch the fucking sissy bar and the bike falls on top of me in the middle of the fucking road. It was fucking dreadful. I'm just laying there and she's just looking at me across the road like...
She probably left a puddle on the ground.
Yeah.
Seeing all that action.
Oh, yeah.
Did you lift it off of yourself and like, did you get your veins popping a little bit as you lifted it? Look over your shoulder.
I literally had to fucking bench press the thing off me, but
oh my God.
In like 3 fucking awkward, disgusting steps as like my ankle was fucking breaking underneath the thing. Oh, it was terrible.
That's
why you shouldn't look at the hot girls when you're on your bike.
I never do. I'm married.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't even know what girls are.
She's there. You got to say that. Yeah.
She's behind me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's where's we at? Oh, you're talking about the bike falling on you.
Yeah. So basically, I made this girl squirt all over the place.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's the only thing I could think of how that would end. Is there any other way that story's gonna wrap up? Of course, it ends with her just fucking creaming all over the sidewalk.
Oh, creaming. Fuck. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how that ended. She came, I came, we went home, and
hopefully never talked about it again till right now.
Oh, fuck. Have you got any fucking horrible falling off your bike, dropping it? Because I'd literally just finished the day before this happened, like being horrible to my buddy was like, yeah, I fucking dropped my bike again yesterday. And I was like, how the fuck do you keep dropping bikes? Like, I've never dropped a bike before. How do you drop a fucking bike? And then I fucking nearly killed myself.
I do remember when I was younger, I was on a Kawasaki Vulcan 800. So
right.
This is probably mid 90s or so.
Okay.
And I was coming around, like I was at a stop sign and I turned and I got too far on the shoulder. Well, my foot didn't reach the ground. Like there's like a little drop off of the road into the gravel, and then it was ditch. And my foot went and it just kept going. Yeah. And I went with it until the bike was laying on top of me and I had to pick it up and dust off my ego and my pride. And
that's all you care about. Like, I could feel my ankle breaking, but all
you didn't care about that ankle.
Fucking people
saw you do it and they know now, and they're probably talking about it still right now. Yeah. They're all sitting around.
That guy kills himself.
Do you guys have crumpets over there or something? They're probably having crumpets and they're talking about it.
Tea and crumpets.
Right now.
Yeah.
Tea and crumpets.
Remember that big fat guy that fell off his bike? Fuck, I hope he died.
Probably broke his ankle. I heard it.
Oh, fuck. Oh, right. I guess
so. Yeah.
Yes.
How are we doing over there?
Man, do you know, I don't even know how long we've been on this fucking thing.
Oh, I don't either. No,
because we spoke for a while before we even hit record. Yeah. So, future plans. Born Free next year.
Next year. Let's do it. Let's just plan it now.
Yeah, right. Everybody
start planning.
Get your pen and paper out.
Yeah. It'll be done by now.
Do you think you're gonna? Have you got any builds that you need to do before you die? Because you're fucking old.
I'm getting older every day. Man, I really just, I'm kind of at a point where I'm trying to get to where I have less stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to finish the sporty build that I have waiting. But other than that, I don't really have anything on the horizon. There's a couple, cool. I'm not really I'm not into panheads, but it's not like my dream bike.
Yeah,
I would probably build another shovel head before it's
Yep.
all said and done. Just to say that I did, or something may strike me and I'll be like, oh, I gotta have one of those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that always happens after I go to a big bike event like Born Free.
Yeah.
I'll be real jazzed up for about 3 weeks, just looking at everything, chomping at the bit to buy and build. And then it kind of fades off a little bit, and I get into maintaining all the stuff that I already have and realize, man, this is a lot of work already.
Yeah.
Just keeping the oil changed and all these things.
So how many bikes you got now? Because you have sold it.
Currently, I have 4 now.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I've gotten rid of quite a few over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sold a couple of the vintage ones. I had the 51 flathead, little 45 cubic flathead, and I had a 47 flathead that I sold to our friend Oliver Peck.
Yep.
And then it was shovel heads. So shovel heads that's been my go-to. It was like,
would you say that's like your favorite motor?
I think so. It's the one that I'm the absolute most familiar with. You know, if there's something that goes wrong, or a tick or a ting or a noise, I'm usually pretty good at figuring out where to start looking, or whether it's even important enough to look into. Some people hop on older bikes and are like, oh my God, what's all that tapping and clicking in there? Oh, it's supposed to sound like that. No. Yeah. That's what they sound like.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man. It just sounds like it's going to fall apart.
Should I take it in to get the oil changed? I mean, Oliver Peck, his collection is just off the fucking.
I would like to see what it looks like currently. Yeah. Like we were talking yesterday. There for a while, every time I would see him, the number would almost triple. Yeah. And it was like, for as long as I knew him, I didn't realize he was into bikes. I didn't realize he was into building them and designing them and all that stuff. And then all out of nowhere, he's got like 12 bikes. I'm like, what? Have you always had bikes? Yeah, man. Always. I love bikes.
and then he's got 112.
Yeah. Then he's got 100. Like his house is a warehouse. So he has a living quarters inside of it.
Sick.
Did you go there?
When I was there, he was living in like a bungalow. Like it wasn't. I didn't see that. I didn't.
Okay.
The warehousing.
Well, he ended up getting rid of that, and he built the compound. It's where the screen printing shop is. They have their home there, and then so that it allows this great big aisleway around where they built the house inside. You know what I mean? So it's a big hallway inside of it, and they're just lined all the way down. All these hallways.
Amazing.
It's insane.
And are they all predominantly Harleys?
Yeah, almost all of them. And he's got like certain. I think he just wants one of everything. Is what that's his ultimate goal, is to have. This year made these bikes, and I got to have those. And this year they made these bikes, and I got to have one of those. Yeah. And he's definitely working his way toward it.
I get it, man. I totally get it. Like I've made it. Yeah, definitely. I've made a choice now that I'm not selling anything. I'm not gonna trade. I'm just gonna collect.
Yeah.
Like we were talking. I'm fucking terrible for parts. Buying parts I don't fucking need. Obviously, I've got the parts shop, so it's like my excuse, really.
What's your favorite motorcycle part to collect?
Oil bags.
Oil bags.
Oil bags and seats.
Gas tanks and seats.
Yeah. Gas tanks are fucking dear here. Like I've spoken
hard to get a hold of.
No, they're easy to get a hold of, but they're fucking dear. Like when you're looking for that really good deal. Whilst you're fucking scavenging. I speak to some guys out, your way, and they're like, "Yeah, I picked up this fucking amazing fucking whatever peanut tank, whatever." And for $30, I'm like, that would be $230 here, like in that same condition. Fucking.
I wonder what the difference is.
I don't know. There's more of it where you are.
Yeah.
We're so small.
Yeah, a little more saturated. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you just need to get into getting those containers full of parts.
That's definitely the plan.
Yeah.
This COVID just fucked everything up.
I know. Have you done any international shipping for anything?
Yeah. So
since COVID?
Just before. No. Yes, I have. During our first lockdown, I shipped a whole load of parts from North Carolina.
Okay. No issues getting them?
No, I mean the tax when they arrived. So basically, I was buying parts off this guy, and I was basically getting everything for like, you know, a pretty hefty discount compared to what they are here, you know, so I could buy them, make a profit, blah, blah. But then the tax that I have to pay when they land here, that was pretty much the profit. So I broke, you know what I mean? I broke even. But once we do the containers, that's going to be a hell of a lot better, you know, and we've got the
much
shop
easier.
And that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's next year. So that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to do our first container and Born Free like next year. You know, do it all in one kind of trip and just maybe document it. Maybe
you have a few parts at your shop, right? Like how is your shop set up exactly? If you were to walk me through the front door.
So you walk in and there's like a barber chair, and you got a waiting room on your barber chair on the right, waiting room on your left, and like around you there's just too many to count. Just like vintage helmets, like old open faces, and just loads of vintage helmets. Carry on, and then you come into kind of the bike shop, the parts shop, sorry, and it's just Harley parts, man. it's just littered with parts that, oil bags, you know, wheels. We've got a whole section for seats. But right now, I'm not actually selling anything. Right now, I'm in the market. I'm just buying.
Yeah.
Because when I first opened the shop, we were doing so well selling online that like you know, it's saturated where you are. There's a plethora of parts everywhere. Yeah,
absolutely.
I was selling them quicker than I was buying them, you know. So that's but I've actually found this guy in Liverpool that we're going to go and see next week, and he's apparently just got a warehouse just full of pre-shovel head Harleys and parts and that. So hopefully we've struck gold there. But yeah, and then carry on through to the back room, and that's going to be the podcast room, and chill out room and shit like that, masturbation station and all that stuff. And
well, who doesn't have one of those at work?
And then upstairs you've got the tattooing and piercing.
Okay,
so that's cool. It's kind of just
piercing. No.
I've got a friend in piercing. She's really good. And it's just kind of just it's just like a shop of kind of like what Oliver's done, apart from I don't live there. It's just a shop full of the shit that I love doing. And
it sounds exactly what he's got going on.
No, it's sick.
That's awesome. Have you got a list of other people you're wanting to chat with on the podcast? Yeah,
we've got Clean. We've got oh fuck, she's called Taylor something. I don't know how to say her second name. So Taylor, I'm so sorry, but it starts with a D and it ends with a GH. So I don't fucking know, but I'm gonna ask her next when we actually speak. I'll ask her. But yeah, so she's coming on this weekend. I'm actually recording the podcast with her, so that'll probably be released next week. And then I've got a lot of UK guys, man, like really good. I've got my friend Steve Smith, Chopper. Steve, he started off like what was it? Chopper Steve Shine Shack. So he was just polishing parts, you know. But then he got a lathe and he started fucking making all these amazing parts. And he's a super cool guy. We've got Lucky Luke from down in London. He's got like a similar setup to me actually. We kind of opened it just after I opened mine. He's got like a showroom in London. And he sells. He's got some insane panheads and flatheads. Like. I don't know where the fuck he gets these things from. They're just treasure. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm sure Harley Davidson actually did a video of him, and he was explaining how like he sees all the parts as like antiques that he kind of collects, and he's a cool guy. He'll be coming on. We've got Clean. I've got a few others that I want on, but I don't want them to hear and be like, "Ha, dick." As if I would come on that.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. I'm cool. So excited for you doing this.
Man, thank you so much for doing it again.
Absolutely. We can talk every day if you want.
Amazing.
I don't have much going on.
I'll definitely get you back. I mean, and when you come over, we'll definitely do like an in-person.
Oh, we can do a sit down in person. That'd be great.
Exactly. I think I'm just going to keep it like this though during this COVID. Not because I'm particularly worried about, but just because it's easy. It's
convenient.
Exactly.
It rules out the no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Too close.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Put your mask on. So, we should probably actually stop this, put masks on, restart, get a third one going.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it right. We'll do one for the other side.
Yeah. Right. Social media handles. I know. Well, I mean, I know you've come off, but you've got an Instagram still, haven't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's Lil Frank, LITTLEFRANK _ Oakwood, OAKWOOD. Lil
Awesome.
Frank _ Oakwood.
And that's where people can check out your tattoos and
yeah, you
bikes
can look at tattoos.
built.
That's I'm not interacting with it as often, but yeah, there's plenty of content to look at the overview of tattoos and motorcycles and just my day to day and my wife and I.
And your podcast?
Don't Call It a Gun, the podcast. Basically, it's just the concept is funny stories from the tattoo shop. You know what I mean? And so we've just reached out to several artists along the way and done little interviews, kind of like this.
Yep.
Just kind of getting people to recall different things that happen in the day in the life of tattooing.
Yeah.
More of a comical sense rather than so mundane.
Yeah. Like when the client passes out and shits on your shoe and stuff.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
The sexy stuff.
So you gonna clean that up?
Oh, I'll do it then. That's fine. Awesome. Thank you so much, dude.
Thanks for having me, man.
That's definitely. I'm sure it's been like an hour now. So I think.
Oh, it has to be. Maybe 2. Who knows?
Hopefully.
I don't know what it is in metric time.
I think it's like 45 mile an hour. Or
I think it's 90 minutes for every 60. I don't know, something like that.
It's something American. It's
something very standard that no one else uses.
Someone's kicking up a fuss. Awesome. Right, dude. I'll leave you to it. Thank you so much for coming back on.
Have a great day, buddy, or evening rather.
Yeah, you have a great day.
All right.
Right.
Bye-bye.
I love you, dude.
Love you, buddy.
Bye.